What time is it?
Pasa pasa,
Time.
pasa pasa.
Time. Every gal, every gal, every gal, every gal. I go me a
Pasa pasa.
stop, girl, wine, drink until I get. Drink and rave till the morning light, my
What is center, have a shop stand.
uptown, downtown.
You know who this is.
Hot man, them no bad like me.
Yes, lovely people. Ready. We're talking about vaccine or vaccination mandates today. And I will be talking as Shar, the regular person. I will not be talking as Shar, a researcher or a public health practitioner or anything. Okay.
Now I have to offer some of those statistics, those information.
A little bit, but not really.
I'm curious.
Oh Lord.
Hilarious. Isn't there now wait, what is happening with Texas and vaccine or mask mandates right now?
The states, the governor has banned mandates in Texas.
Okay.
Meanwhile, New York has mandates. And today I saw that Chicago's mayor has mandates for the police and the union is fighting back. So girl, and that's like the city mayor. Yeah.
A mess.
I know, but in New York, yeah, the nurses and health workers, people who work at, they're mandated to get vaccinated or else they lose their jobs.
Or suspension. They're trying it with the teachers as well, but I know I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think I heard that they lost the appeal that the teachers that is in New York, they lost the appeal, so now they have to be vaccinated. But I know whatever New York does, New Jersey's following suit. So
I'm surprised New Jersey hasn't done it.
they've started.
Well, you know, New Jersey's also it has an election coming up, so there are a little bit differences happening.
Yeah. They've definitely tried with the mandates for the teacher. The union as well, you know, were fighting it. But I'm not, I think it's still being fought because I know I just received an email from my job reiterating the mandate, but they're still allowing the 2 excuses. And of course, now the weekly COVID tests that they're saying that the teachers would have to do if they're not vaccinated. But I think they're still trying, the union is still trying to, you know, honestly, I don't even think they are, because I think all aspect of the umbrella is trying to get everyone to be vaccinated. So as much as the union said that they are fighting, I don't know if they are really fighting the mandate. So
I don't believe I don't know that they can.
But what do you guys think about the actual mandate? Do you think it's appropriate, or do you think it's
I don't think
I'll
it's
say
appropriate.
this. I think people need a choice. I do think, right, as someone who's very interested in public health, I'm not in public health formally, but I live in a society and I experience public health as a whole. And if people can just walk around and not be protected against preventable disease, then yes, that is a public health concern. I get that part, right? And that's true for a lot of things. All the things we get vaccinated for as kids, as adults, we get boosters, all the things. What I think is different is this is new. And because it's new, people need to have a choice. I think people should have a choice.
I agree with you, Carrie. I am not anti-vaccine. I don't have any issues with vaccine, because people be like, oh, you don't want to get a vaccine, you're anti-vaccine. No, my daughter is fully vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated with all the shots that I needed to take. I'm not anti-vaccine, but I think people should have a choice. If someone says, I don't think I'm ready for the vaccine right now, I don't think you should force it on them. Like, I just feel like each person should have the option to say when they want or don't want to. And as I was saying to Sharifa, you know, these nurses in New York, they worked tirelessly throughout the entire COVID when there was no vaccine. And now there's a vaccine and you're telling them, forget all the sacrifices you made. I'm just going to fire you. I don't even care. To me, I don't see how that is fair. I have serious issues with that. So that's just my 2 piece.
I feel like it's complicated. I think, let me tell you, okay, I'm thinking a lot of things. You guys know I think a lot of things, a lot of things to say. All right, so here's my take. Soph and I are completely agreed on these healthcare workers, the nurses, the doctors, the people who were cleaning, like the security, like they were in there when there were people on the floors, in the hallways, in tents outside through the, so I feel strongly about the mandate being so harsh, because these people were working when we weren't even sure what the treatment should be. We weren't even sure what the protocol should be, and they showed up. So I feel specific, like like responders and frontline workers who we were clapping at 7 p.m. at night and all of these like inspirational things. I feel particularly like offended on their behalf. That said, somebody has to get vaccinated and somebody has to be the first, right? And it sucks, but that's just how I think everything that we're even used to using and we think is normal today, like a Tylenol pill. Someone had to be the first to try it. Of course, they have trials and they do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but at some point it becomes a part of medical treatment and someone's going to be the first. And of course, usually it's people who are some people are just more willing to do those things. I've never volunteered for a trial. Some people are literally just more willing to do those things. Some people are doing it because maybe not for COVID, but definitely for like really breaking treatments. Some people are just so sick and so desperate for care that they are willing to try anything for like severe illnesses or whatever. Right. So at some point, we become part of the data that a lot of people are waiting for and have to contribute to the science that helps other people make the decision. So there's always going to have to be some people out in the front, right? I feel particularly, like empathetic or sympathetic towards the nurses and our frontline responders. I feel like it's very harsh to force them to mandate them. I do think that there has to be some mandates for some people. I don't know who, I don't get to choose. And I'm glad I don't have to make that kind of decision because it's a hard decision. Because as much as I was willing to get vaccinated for the COVID shots or whatever, I'm fully vaccinated. I have never gotten a flu shot and I dodged that thing like a professional, right? Because I think based on the information I know, I don't think I'm at risk. I don't teach a lot of kids. I don't have a lot of kids around me that are germsy. I live by myself. I don't work in a healthcare setting. I feel like 1, I know how to stay away from the flu. And 2, I feel like if I got the flu, I feel confident I might be okay. And so I feel like there does need to be room for choice because a lot of jobs force people also to get the flu shot. And I don't think they have to force you to get the flu shot. So, yeah.
I'm just trying to figure. Go ahead.
I just wonder, some of what you said, Char, about healthcare workers and the sentiment when we were in the thick of things, people were paying home health aides and CNAs like $25, $30 an hour. And usually those jobs don't pay a living wage. People can work as a CNA and be homeless, not be able to afford housing. That's the normal wage. So in the midst of COVID, it was like, we're going to pay you just to incentivize you going to work. But the underlying value of those professions didn't change. So I see it from that perspective, like, oh, I was so valuable spring of last year, spring, summer. And now it's like, get vaccinated or we're going to get someone to work your place, right? So I'm like, it's very, I don't even want to say concerning because we knew this before. But I think in some ways we were hopeful that this would be a shift in the way we value these workers, it's truly essential workers who were essential before pandemic, and the pandemic just made it crystal clear that this is an essential job. And it feels like we're just like going back to what was pre-pandemic. That's at least what it feels like to me.
I'm trying to figure out through all of this who they're trying to protect with these mandates. I think that's always my biggest question. Are you trying to protect the people who work for you? Are you trying to protect the people around them? Who are you trying to protect? Because
they're shareholders.
Say as a teacher, you're mandating for the teachers to get the vaccine. Now the kids can't get the vaccine. So that means the kids can get sick and bring it to the teachers. Are you concerned that the teachers are going to get sick enough to die? Are you concerned that the teachers are going to pass it on to the kids and then the kids are going to take it home? What are you concerned about? Because I think the concern is misplaced. As a healthcare worker, if you're like, I'm going to fire all of you if you don't get vaccine, if you don't get the shot, are you concerned that the nurses are going to die if they don't get the shot? I don't understand where the concern lies. And that is my biggest thing is you have nurses who are educated, who are unwilling to get the shot. These are not like, I don't know that out of the, I'm just going to throw out a number, 80,000 nurses that are deciding not to get the shot, that all of them are saying, Trump told me not to get the shot. I can guarantee you they're all getting it for different reasons. So who are you looking out for when you say you are no longer employed if you do not get the shot? I think that's my biggest concern, is that people are misguided by the idea that if you have the shot, you can go live your life. You're great. Come work, go to the store. If you go be maskless if you want to. If you're not vaccinated, now we have an issue. Now your job is in jeopardy. Now you need to walk around and have the scarlet letter on your chest because you are not vaccinated. And I'm like, how is that helping your employees? I just don't understand. That's the part that I am trying to figure out still, because you can still get COVID with the shot. You can still pass on COVID with the shot, and you can still die from COVID with the shot. Now, the chances are reduced with all of that, but the possibility is still there. So I'm trying to figure out who you're trying to protect. I just want to know, because you're stressing people out.
Well, so I don't think all employees are the same employee. I feel like a nurse is an educated person, and I feel like they're educated with respect to healthcare. And so I feel like they are capable, shot or no shot, to PPE themselves, because they've been PPEing. So I feel way less concerned about their safety. Just like as a person listening, I'm just like, y'all mad concerned about these nurses. I feel like they're really well equipped to take care of themselves, and even if they're not vaccinated, to appropriately garb themselves and protect their patient and themselves. And if they, knowing what they know and trained how they're trained, feel adequately prepared to do that, I don't see why they need to be fired.
Yeah.
General public employee and employer, I don't trust them. I know plenty people when we were just at the beginning of the pandemic, heard there was COVID, saying, man, what a business. Okay, ma'am, sir, I have to come to work with you. This was before they were telling us to mask. This is when they were telling us don't mask. Unless you had symptoms. Well, we should have been masking anyway. But anyway, and I was like, okay, so you're gonna live your best life and then come to work to me. Yes, I think in a general public setting, maybe you do want to protect people. I know school people are very sensitive about schools closing, not only because of the teachers and the kids, but because of the childcare situation and the stresses that parents and families deal with when they're trying to go to work and keep the kids. And the kids can't get vaccinated. And I don't think they know what they're doing. They don't know the right answer. I think they want as many people vaccinated as possible at the school,
Right.
while
Right.
the kids can't. I promise you, if the kids could get vaccinated and it was FDA approved, I bet you they would mandate the kids to be vaccinated. Because I think the worst thing is they don't want schools to close, because they don't want to have like a childcare crisis again. Because people can't afford, like, now they realize how expensive childcare is, and that people can't afford to have childcare for people have 2 or 3 picnic. They can't do it. Like, it's unaffordable. I don't know what the balance is, but I feel like they should be treating different people differently. I feel like they can't just be, like you're saying, just out here mandating everything for everybody.
My biggest issue with the mandate, well, I can't say it's my biggest, but one of my biggest issue, I know about 4 nurses right now who they've been suspended because they have not taken the COVID vaccine. Now, two in particular that I've spoken to have said to me, we caught COVID, we had 0 symptoms. We just got tested and knew we had COVID. We had no symptoms, we were perfectly fine. And for that reason, we don't still need to take the vaccine. But yet I'm being forced to take the vaccine. People like those, I'm saying to myself, okay, they have caught COVID. They have no symptoms from the COVID. So if you're saying the vaccine is to save lives, as Misha said, with the vaccine, you can still catch COVID with or without it, right? So it's not like, I think way more people would have
really,
been.
guys, it's like exponential, it's like multiplicatively different. Like your risk of catching COVID. So put it this way, if you're the one person catch COVID, your risk of catching COVID is 100%. You don't catch COVID vaccine or not, right? But honestly, on a population level, the way we were seeing people out about, like, okay, the way we're seeing people in Jamaica now in the hallways of hospitals, if you were vaccinated, it would be less. Of course, for the breakthrough infections and for the different strains, because it's a virus, virus must have strains, they mutate. And of course, the people who made the vaccine, one, they don't know everything. I've never seen anybody come up with any solution that was foolproof. But, you know, you put on a seatbelt, yes, you could still die in an accident. Doesn't mean you don't wear a seatbelt. Doesn't mean seatbelts are awful. You get an accident, you don't have on a seatbelt, you survive. It doesn't mean it's very.
That's correct. But at the end of the day, in my world, this is exactly the point. Who are you trying to protect by mandating it? So you're gonna say, okay, everybody needs to wear a seatbelt, right? Everybody needs to wear a seatbelt regardless. That is not, and then if you wear a seatbelt, X, Y, and Z. That's not the case here. The case here is everybody needs to get vaccinated. And then if you don't get vaccinated, you got to get tested every day. You got to wear a mask. You got to do all these things in an attempt to say, once you've gotten COVID, the COVID shot, you're good, which is not the case. I'm not saying everybody shouldn't get.
I don't know who's communicating that, but I don't think that's true. I think if you get the COVID, still be masking. I think you should still be distant.
Yeah, but that's not what's communicated.
Yeah,
that's not what's communicated. What's communicated is you get the shot. You're right. You can go outside and you mask up if you want to mask up. If you're in a room with somebody, it's up to you. In my world, it should be up to you for everybody. To me,
I even hear teachers saying that.
This is how it's being communicated, which is stupid to me. That's the part that makes no sense. Who are you trying to protect by doing this? To me, it should be communicated. Listen, it is in your best interest to get the vaccine because chances are you will not die from this if you do. However, everyone should mask, because if you have it and you don't know, you're going to kill somebody else, or vice versa. Somebody, even if with the vaccine, somebody could kill you. So you should mask up anyway. You should also get tested because then you will know for sure. However, that's not what's communicated. People who are not vaxxed,
they're very sloppy, my dear. Yes.
Right. People are not vaxxed. They're like, why aren't you?
I don't get that.
Do you want to die? Do you trying to kill everybody? When really...
That's human nature, though. Human nature. This is why people love organizations. They love when people agree with them. They love to see my team, your team. You know, we're on team. Some people getting divorced. We're like, oh, we're up on team this, team that. I think somehow we like to have agreement, and somehow
I get that.
yeah.
I
So I
understand.
think they're just because there's no reason for anybody to be suspending like Sophie's friends who are they've had it. They're health workers.
And they're
know
probably
this is-
testing.
Yeah, they're been tested. Like I don't get it. I don't know
But
why.
I think a part of this is, right, being able to, the system is the system, right? It's like there's empathy. It's like, we're going to play this game with y'all. But understand, this is a juggernaut. We are, the juggernaut don't stop because y'all don't feel like doing something. And I think that's the heavy hand that's coming down to say people are getting suspended and people are getting fired. Because I think there's only a certain amount of faux freedom, I would call it, where you feel like you have a choice. But the reality is, if the system requires that people be at work, and in order for people to work, schools need to be open, and in order for schools to be open, teachers need to be vaccinated, right? Like, it's all connected to the economics of this. So that juggernaut of economics don't stop going. So to Misha's question about who are you protecting, in my mind, like, they're protecting the money flow. People need to go to work, period.
Right.
There's no other like thing that makes sense to me. If people need to go to work and the economy needs to keep moving, people need to get vaccinated. We're going to have a little bit of wiggle room to have y'all feel like you have a choice, but the reality is you don't have a choice. So it's like kicking the can down the road, and I get that, right? That's part of the thing we accept when we live in a shared society. Those are the rules. So whether if you're not I'm not vaccinated right now, I'm pretty sure at some point I am going to get vaccinated. I'm just kicking the can down the road to a point where I feel more comfortable. But right, it's like me said, oh, I'm not going to get my MMR. All right, well, ma'am, you ain't coming to nobody Rutgers. You're not doing none of the things that the rules require. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rock and a hard place.
I completely understand. I completely understand the economics of it. I think you don't want to be delusioned into thinking that you're just a number. Like, you have a say in this world, you have a choice over yourself, and all of this just makes you realize that you don't. And it's just a hard pill to swallow. That's all. Because really, who wants to think of themselves as just that? We're just trying to make the money flow from the top down. Big Pharma is working, and y'all are trying to kick Big Pharma. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. This is America, but this is America.
Yeah.
This is America, but this is America. So you all need to figure that crap out. So I mean, it's what it is, and we'll see how it all pans out, because at a certain point they're going to make sure you wear your seatbelt, or the fine is going to be hefty. Yeah,
I think they're doing it. I mean, I'm making this up, but I think they're doing it to see how many people they could get to get vaccinated. At some point, they have to stop. They don't you think? They can't get everybody vaccinated. At some point, they got to give up.
No, it's not going to be 100%.
They want
they can get it as close to.
They're just pushing it as far as they can push it, because if they push it far enough, it's less stress on the hospital system.
Yeah.
It's less stress on the schools. And so I think they know, but they know how nothing's ever coordinated, right? So people just out there saying whatever they're saying, and some of it doesn't make sense, of course, and some of it makes sense. And you may have to go read the article yourself for it to make sense, because a lot of the messaging, like Misha is saying, is off, and people are saying all kinds of things. I remember when Biden said, stop mask, vaccinated, you can get rid of the mask. I was like, that's politics, 100%. Because everybody know that is not God make the vaccine. So therefore, you could get the vaccine. And okay, say back in the day when it was one strain, it was 97% effective, right? Now there's so many strains, it's like 60%. But say it was 97. If you in that 3%, you got COVID, right? So why would you tell anybody to not wear a mask just because they're vaccinated? That didn't make any sense to me beer politics, beer tricking, trying to have like words to say, just like Carrie was just saying. New Jersey holding off on their mandate, not because they're more conscientious than New York, probably because it's election season. And as soon as that's done, they might start mandating stuff in New Jersey too and upsetting the general population. But for now, that is not in their best interest.
Yeah, I think environment context is everything, right? I think in my purview, especially when it comes to healthcare workers specifically, they are a unique subset of the population because they had COVID in their face 24/7 in the height of it. So in my mind, if anybody's equipped to make a decision to do it or not, it should be them. The regular public, different story, because we tapped into COVID here or there, but for the most part, people are in their house. They weren't out here in these streets till people got mostly vaccinated. But if you're a nurse and a doctor and in that space, and you were in the thick of it when everybody was in their house, then I feel like you should be allowed to make that decision if that's what you want to do or not.
Agreed.
And unless you're in Florida. If you're in Florida, no.
Florida is not a
Different
part
set
of
of
the
rules.
US, ma'am. What are you talking about? That's a whole different country. Why
Different
are we
set of
talking
rules.
about
Y'all remember
Florida?
the height of the okay, everybody's home, lockdown, can't leave. Like I feel like nothing was open, the streets were clean, and then you in your house watching news, and the beach is full in Florida.
Oh,
Spring
Florida.
break. I was like, are we having a pandemic or no?
Yeah.
Florida.
Florida is not a real place. Not a
Not at all.
real place.
Just like Jamaica. Not a real place.
Not a real
Right.
place.
Not a real place.
Jamaica is
And
not a
Jamaica's
real
like,
place.
well, if I call up my name for
Not a real
Right.
place.
Jamaica, like, how I get
to
into
that
this?
is, I want my
Not a real place.
I mind my business.
Listen, I just got news of two individuals that went to the hospital. They were both sick, husband and wife. They were both sick, and wasn't sure why, but they obviously had COVID symptoms. And excuse me, the doctor asked the husband, "Are they vaccinated?" And the husband said, "Yes, they were vaccinated." And the doctor said, "Okay, you can go out there and sit in the, the public
Hallway,
where
not the
everybody
hallways,
was."
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get to you. We're dealing with those who were not vaccinated type of situation. Well, by the end of the day, the wife dropped dead. And at this point, up on testing the corpse, the wife had COVID, and the doctor, the doctor, of course, realized, I guess, that the wife wasn't vaccinated, and that to this day we're all wondering, why did the husband said they were vaccinated? Not,
Right.
Chad, I don't know. But I said to myself, wait, so they both come in sick with COVID symptoms, and because you were told they were vaccinated, you send them to go sit in the public where all the other people were sitting waiting, right? You don't quarantine them somewhere, even though you haven't tested them yet, but they're showing COVID symptoms. So now everybody that was in that area, everybody's now having a panic attack because they were sitting there for hours with them, no mask, just living their best life. I heard the wife wasn't wearing a mask, living their best life. By the end of the day, the wife dropped dead. I'm like, this must be a movie. This can't be real life. That's a movie. Not a real place.
You
Jamaica's
have
not
to
a real
read your
place.
own book for yourself.
Not a real place. Jamaica is not a real place.
Well,
I love them. I love them to death. I love that little island in the middle of wherever it is.
the middle of the sea. Hey, God. It's an
I
island.
Jamaica is in a real place. That is a fact. Pre-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID, it's not.
No, that's awful.
Nah. That's just what
Somebody
it is.
tell him say vaccine or treatment. Oh, you got
That's what I'm
COVID?
saying
Oh,
to
go
you.
home. Yeah, man, go sit down.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Sir, it already
There's a
didn't work.
lot of-
I got COVID.
There's a lot of misguided people out there regarding this vaccine. And I keep saying to myself, where did it go wrong? Where did all this fake information come from? A lot of misguided people who truly think
Right. The same place
that-
where misguided
What's up?
information come. The internet, ma'am. The internet.
WhatsApp forward. This has been
WhatsApp
forwarded
forward.
too many times.
Yo, that once I see that forwarded too many times, forwarded many times in my mind, it's too many times. If it's forwarded many times, it needs to stop with me.
Stop.
I need to break the cycle.
Well,
That
I
is
know
a public
that-
service. That is your public health service because it's
Yes.
scamming.
Peer scamming on WhatsApp between the onion and the turmeric and the garlic remedies.
I can't tell you
And
how many times I've gotten
ivermectin.
those.
Yo,
Oh God,
you
were
are
people
vaccinated, but you willing to take horse medicine? Okay.
Wait, is that in the Caribbean? Like in the Caribbean circle?
It's
I
in
feel
the
like
Caribbean
that's
too. Yes.
Ooh.
Ma'am, that's everywhere. What are you talking about?
No, for some reason I thought it was more rural. Like I don't know people in the city going to the pharmacy like, let me get some ivermectin. I feel like it's the people in the rural areas like Texas that's like, let me.
First of all, Texas is not rural. Houston is the third largest state. The third largest city in the country.
All of it.
Insane. So you're factoring in the bush, only the bush part?
When I think of Texas, I think horses and everything.
Oh my
is
Me
God.
farm,
too, Carrie. I have to admit, me too.
right? I feel like people are
Hats.
riding up to the saloon and
Funny hats
roping
and
their
high
horses,
boots.
asking for ivermectin. Like that's what I think of.
The poor horses had nothing to do with this. Well, how they gonna come into this?
We
The
put
horses
them in
are
now.
like, what am I call up my name for though? Like, what is happening?
The poor horse is mad in his own business. Oh God.
I have to admit, I agree.
As with all things, we have to have a little grace for everybody. I feel like everyone's in a different place. And I realize maybe we need everybody to move fast on things, or we think we need everyone to move fast and at a certain pace. And I get it. But sometimes we're too gung-ho, like the same red letter. Sorry, I forgot what me cross. Whatever. Like the same, like, why are we like scarlet letter? Why treating people poorly because they either don't understand, they're not equipped, or they made a different decision having understood and becoming equipped. There needs to be a balance, but politics, it kind of
There has to be a balance. And I think if we're watching what's happening in the workspace, people are quitting their jobs left and right. Y'all saw that most recent employment report? How
Yes.
many hundreds of thousands people
What did they
stopped
call
working?
it? It's not the great migration. It's the great, oh my gosh. Now it's going to drive me crazy trying to remember what it's called. But
If I tell you how they're begging, when I say begging teachers to stay, teachers are retiring. People who haven't even reached retirement age, taking early retirement, they're quitting. They're going to these online schools, applying for online schools and working in online schools. Right now, we are missing at least 30% of our teachers. It's the craziest thing to me, the amount of empty classrooms we have. And that's another thing that I keep saying to myself. You're forcing schools to stay open. This is what another issue that we're having. You're forcing schools to stay open because the kids need to come to school, right? Kids were at home for 18 months. And in all honesty, I can tell you from what I've seen, they've learned nothing. They have learned nothing. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I believe
you may have one or
Hashtag
two
facts.
that may learn how to spell their names, but that's all they can do. Nothing. Minus Misha's kids, because she was on that.
My children struggled. I told you, struggled. If they tell me school's closing right now, I have to go open our next school. I have to go move or something. I can't manage. No, sir.
No, but like legit, there's nothing. So you're forcing the schools to stay open, but you're sending them back. And this is not every district, because there's some districts where the teachers are going out, but you're sending them back to empty classrooms because you just want that babysitting situation. There's empty classrooms with subs who are doing nothing but looking at them, and kids are playing around, doing nothing in the room, sitting there all day. You ask yourself, I'm not seeing the balance. Like, I don't get it. Why are they come as a mother, right? As a parent, you want them out of the house.
No, it's not. No, that is not why I want them out the house. But it
can't be for learning. You can't. It's not because it's for learning. Because they're not learning anything.
To me, it just depends on the situation. So that's one of those situations where if you are in a privileged household then all great, right? Because then you can probably set your kids up with the resources to be able to succeed. I feel like I am able to semi privileged when it comes to my children. They're not one where they're getting fed at school. I can feed them at home. There are tons of low income families that it is not possible to feed their children. Sending them to school means they eat, literally. So
okay, but I have to say this.
Yeah, but beyond that, one of my children, as you all know, suffered greatly being at home. And it's not suffered just in the space of is she learning? It's suffering in the space of her mental health was suffering by not, and it's not a babysitting situation. It is, she needs to have the environment to interact with other kids in a learning space. She needs to have that. There's no way around that. You can't put a bunch of kids on a computer and say learn, and teachers trying their best. It's just not happening. I can't send her to a one-on-one tutoring session and say learn. It's not about learning. She can learn. If you teach her 2 + 2 and say 2 + 2 is 4, she is going to get it. Even if it takes all day, she's going to get it. What she will not learn, though, is how to interact, how to be good with competing, how to know how to lose. There's a ton of things that you learn at school that doesn't include all of the other things.
You're saying, and I get it, you're saying she needs to be around other kids. She learns better that way, right? But I'm saying you are sending, and not you, because your situation may be different. I'm talking about my school. I can only speak for my district. You're sending your child to a school around other kids, but they're still not learning anything. They don't have a teacher. So all they're coming there to do is to play. In my mind, at least when they were online.
Which one is better?
In my mind, at least when they were online, they had a teacher. So even though they didn't have kids,
but they had no food, they had no parental guidance.
Our district provided food. They
also provided somebody to watch the kids at home. So what if the parent has to go to work, like physically,
that's what I'm saying,
to leave and go to work? What happens then?
This is it's a thin line, right? To what's right and what's not right. It's a thin line. And to be honest, I can't tell you one is right and one is wrong. Because if mommy has to go to work and mommy has to leave the kids at the house, is that right? Absolutely not. Babies can't take care of themselves. But then again, I'm saying to myself, you're setting your kids around all these other kids and they're doing nothing. So you're like, honestly,
it's about an educator. You're like, they're not learning.
Right, but tell you that one is right and one is wrong.
I don't know if it's a right or wrong conversation. It's more about what makes the most sense for right now. Because no parent wants their kid in school not learning, but parents also need to work to pay their rent. It's like it's a hard decision. It's no right decision there. And when you're in right school districts like the one you're describing, so it's already not well resourced to begin with. Exactly. And now we're in a real unique time where teachers are scarce, right? All these things. It's even worse. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's just hard decisions all over the place.
It's crazy. And Carrie, you're absolutely right. I am not saying to you, pick one over the other. Because right now I am in the middle. Like I don't know what I would choose, to be honest. But it's like it's a very we're at a place now in life where you just have to go with what works for you in the moment.
So that's the pick one or the other. That is a thing that should be a choice for the parents in this situation. That is how I feel about it. You shouldn't say you can't send your kids to school. You can't send your kids to school because there are no teachers, as opposed to you can send the kids to school and you cannot leave them at home. Like you can't do virtual at all. For me, every situation is different. My oldest, he succeeded very well. He flourished in online learning, where the other ones complete fail. And not failing, as I said, academically, She did absolutely fine. Like she did great academically. Everything else went down. I prefer her to fail academically. Honestly, I'm not even lying to you. I prefer her to fail honestly than to see her struggle everywhere else. So I feel like in a situation like this, until we can do better, there should be a choice for people to say, listen, we understand the situation is bad. We have one teacher that can service 100 kids. If that's an option for you, please take it. If not, send them to the classroom. Because as I said, for me, if I'm a parent who can't feed my child and the child goes to school, I don't care if they're not learning. If they're at home and can't eat, it doesn't matter if you teach them 2 + 2. If they can't eat, they're not going to remember that. It doesn't matter. And as much as you're saying, okay, well, you know, the kids will do X, Y, and Z. When you are at home worried about your kids and, you know, can I pick this up? Can I do this? Are they, you know, doing what they, it's a stressful time for everybody. And you're not trying to pass it down to your kids, but as a byproduct, they are feeling the stress that you are feeling.
Oh, of course.
So
Absolutely.
Of course.
And
There's a lot of stress at home to be felt, right? Because there's school, which is only one part of our lives. There's housing, right? All who not get evicted, I get them eviction notice. All kids are seeing all of these. You know, it's a lot. It's like a whirlwind of things that all feel so important, and they're all very hard decisions that parents are making, and often single parents are making. They're making these decisions as I'm one person. I gotta prioritize whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
At a time like this, it's a lot.
It's true. True, Carrie. Even with the housing, you know, let's say I'm a homeowner and I'm renting you, but you can't work because you have to stay home, so that you can't pay me my rent, but I need to pay my mortgage. So I want to be sympathetic to you, but I have my mortgage to pay, but you can't pay my rent because
So you need to go to work.
That's right.
I would say to fix all of this, all y'all just need to get vaccinated and stop talking.
It's inevitable.
Just do it.
Thanos.
Hashtag just do it, Nike.
Just do it.
Just do it.
You said Thanos. It was great, guys.
So
at the end of the day,
vaccinated next week?
At the end of the day, do no one though.